late for you. It's 10:30, isn't it?
It's 10:30.
Yep.
Yeah.
Piyush, are you able to check if we are online?
Yeah, we are about to. We are online. Yeah,
Brilliant.
we are
Brilliant.
on.
We
We
are
are
online.
live now. We are live now.
So shall we rock and start?
Yep.
All
What's
right.
up? What's up, guys? So we are back. We are live once again. It's our ninth episode, and today we are really,
Wow.
really excited, especially me, because we have been following Gav from quite a long time, and definitely we are getting a lot of values from him. So, Gav, just want to give you a brief about our podcast. So me and Tauseef met almost 2.5 years back, of course, online. Even after 2.5 years, we have not met in person yet.
That's pretty ironical.
Yeah.
You haven't met.
No, we
Nope.
haven't.
Nope.
So because the lockdown has stopped you guys even meeting up.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God, how
Absolutely.
crazy is that?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And during this 2.5 years, we had a lot of conversations around life experiences and all this stuff. So we found this one thing common, that Tauseef and I, we both had some life experiences which taught us to start living a completely different life. So we had this conversation that why don't we bring people and talk about their life experiences, those major life experiences which must have affected them, which must have taught them to start living a completely different life. That is why the tagline of our podcast is Life Ended, the
Definitely.
podcast, where we discuss life the way it is not. So this is how we started this podcast, and today it's our ninth episode, and we are absolutely very much excited and happy. So why don't you, Tausif, please talk about something, Gav, and then we will take it further. Please, Tausif.
Well,
Sure, Piyush.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gav.
Gav, you want to say
sorry,
something?
I was just about to say thanks for inviting me on the show. Pleased to be here. It's my definitely my first podcast into India,
Oh,
and so I'm excited to be here. So happy to chat with whatever you guys need. So over to you.
thank you. And thanks, Piyush. You have explained it beautifully when it comes to the purpose of our podcast. So, thanks a lot, Gav. First of all, I would like to understand how to pronounce your name. Is it Gav or Gav? Because I would
It's
not fault.
Gav.
It's
Gav.
Gav. Gav. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Well, it's funny because it's funny that when I'm on the phone to people, particularly in Europe, like the Spanish, Germans, French, they all say Gave, and
Okay.
which sounds a bit like something else, but it's definitely Gav. Yeah, Gavin. So,
Okay.
but there you go. And I would want to make sure it's obviously Tauseef, is that right?
Yep, it's
And
Tauseef.
is it
You absolutely pronounced correctly.
Piyush.
Piyush.
Yeah, perfect.
Piyush?
Yeah.
Okay,
Perfect.
perfect. Good, perfect.
So thank you so much. So I would like to introduce my audience about what Gav does. So I still remember, I think it was 1 year back when I started interacting with Gav, especially he shared beautiful videos every day where he adds massive value. So I had an opportunity to interact with him. We are a part of a couple of groups and we interact with each other. We add value to each other's content. So it's been an amazing relationship with Gav. So as Piyush mentioned that we both started on a purpose to share the life stories of ours, but we decided that why not go ahead and invite other people, because everybody has unique stories and to tell to the world, and audience can learn from each other's experience. So just to let tell share with the audience that Gav is as adding a massive value when it comes to fitness and health. He is one of the UK's renowned health and fitness coach, and let me tell you, he has a massive following on all social media platform. I mean, the numbers just goes on. I know about LinkedIn. I think he almost close to 40,000 people are following him. So not only that, he has. I just got to know today that he is on other social media platform and adding value on a much larger scale. So Gav, today we will talk about your life experience. much in details, in depth. But before we move on to that, we would like to know more about you from you. And first of all, we would like to understand that what are you doing at the current stage of your life?
What am I doing? Well, that's a broad question.
Please feel free to take your time.
Where do I start? What am I doing right now? My main focus, if I'm completely honest, is building my coaching business. And although I am on all social media platforms, I think LinkedIn is my most powerful one for me. And that's the one that I would say I focus probably 95% of my time and efforts and posts. So with regards to business, I've been in the health and fitness business, nearly all my life now. I did a sports science degree back in 1993. So you can probably work out my age there.
Oh,
But I had a big career
I'm,
change. We'll get to that in a bit.
I'm really shocked.
Yeah, why do you think? So yeah, I'll be 40. Well, thank you. 48 this Christmas. So involved in sport, health, fitness, and it's always been my passion. I did it in university, and then fell into something else. Got back into what I'm doing full time now in 2008. So I think I've been full time in fitness so for 12, 13 years. But currently, I've moved the business online entirely about 4 years ago. Sorry, about three years ago, which is very lucky with what's gone on in the last year. So I'm very fortunate, and really went hard on LinkedIn about 2 years ago. So I've built that following in a couple of years. So yeah, in terms of business, that's my focus. I've got a 12-week coaching program where I help clients all over the world, and thankfully through things like the power of Zoom, I can have clients all over the world. So with a focus of weight loss, my 12 weeks helps people lose 20 to 30 pounds. But with the key is having a lifestyle at the same time, as in they can still eat carbs, they can still have a drink if they want to, if they need to. And it doesn't need, hours and hours in the gym, which most people, when they think of weight loss, they think about cutting carbs. And talking to you guys in India, cutting carbs is not what you want to be doing. Most people think about restriction, elimination. So my whole idea is to try and cut all the rubbish out there around fitness and nutrition, focus on the message that gives people results very, very quickly. So that's from a business perspective. But what else am I doing in life? Got a wife, three kids. They keep me busy in between. Actually, what have I been doing the last year? Not much, because we've been locked down, haven't we?
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone or been anywhere or done anything. So although there's lots happening in the world, I haven't been doing a huge amount. I know that's a rather open-ended answer, but it was quite an open-ended question, wasn't it? What am I doing in life?
Absolutely.
So hopefully that's a good start.
Yep, absolutely. Tauseef, you are on mute, I think. So Gav,
Yeah.
I want to ask this a very interesting question, that how did you come up with this idea that, without compromising, you don't have to give up your carbs and you don't have to compromise with your lifestyle? How did you come up with this idea?
Well, that's a good question, and that really is the crux of what I try and show my clients. Now, as I mentioned before, most people are under the impression that when I say to you, you want to lose weight, nearly everyone thinks carbs is the culprit. If they're very behind nutrition, a lot of people think fat makes them fat. Now, the bottom line is the only way that someone will gain weight is if they consume more calories than they're burning. So it doesn't matter the source of the calories. If you eat too much protein, there's a simple balance. It's what I call the calorie deficit. That's the calories going in, all the food and drink you eat, and that's the energy that you burn. As long as you burn more calories than you're consuming, you'll lose body fat. Now, these calories can be any source, carbs, fat, or protein. And that's what most people don't understand. So most people, when I speak to them on the phone and they think they want to lose 20, 30 pounds, or 10, 15 kilos, they think, that's the misconception, they think they're going to have to cut out all their carbs. They think they're going to have to go to the gym, and they've got no idea of what they're consuming. So the mechanics of losing body fat are very, very simple. Burn more calories than you take in. Now, the bit that I focus on is the psychology behind that. So losing weight is more what goes on in the head than actual physical. Of course, when it comes down to the basics, you have to eat slightly less food, exercise more. That's fat loss. So if it was that simple, why is half the world overweight? Because if you think about this, food is the only drug that we have to have. You look at alcohol, cigarettes, cocaine, heroin, marijuana, all the things that people do all over the world who choose to do that. You don't have to have those drugs in their life. Food is the one thing that's abused, and it's so emotional. If you think about it, when people are sad, they go and eat food. When they're happy, they go and eat food. If they get fired from their job, they go and eat food. If they get, it's an emotional, Absolutely. And we have to do it. And most people do it 1, 2, 3, 4 times a day. And you can't survive without it.
Right.
So it's teaching people to understand how nutrition works, getting them to understand the cues when it comes to what are the triggers that make someone look like. When someone that's overweight and they look at, what's a really good junk food in India at the moment? What do you guys eat? What's the junk food? A favorite junk food?
I think it's pizza and burger. These are the junk
food. Not really. Yeah. A local food, if I talk about
local foods as well, right?
A kind of Indian burger. It is called vada pav.
So it's deep fried, probably.
Deep fried, yes.
Deep fried. Okay, yes. I can imagine that, right? So imagine do you use kilos or pounds in India?
Kilos. Yes.
All right, let's say someone's 130 kilos, 5'10", 130 kilos. He knows or she knows that she shouldn't have one of those burgers. And she's looking at the burger thinking, this is not going to help me. But so why does that person still eat it? And they know they're going to get fat because of eating, over consuming calories. It's because, one, they don't understand that they probably can still have that as long as they control other areas of life. So there's that to start with. But two, there's those psychological triggers. It makes them think, well, I can't lose weight because I've tried everything before, which means they've probably tried 1 or 2 things. So what's that? What the hell? Then most people that are overweight, not everyone, but most people that are overweight have got a very low self-esteem and poor body image. So if they don't care about themselves and they think other people don't care about them, and that's not true for everyone, but it is true for some, for many, their self-worth is very, very low. So they don't really care. If you think about any area of your life that's not working, it's because your standards aren't very high. If you think of an area that's really working well, like money or business or weight loss, it's because your standards are very high. So so weight loss, although the mechanical side of it is very simple, burn more calories than you take in, the psychological aspect of it is extremely tough. And that's just one area. There's so much that stops people doing why do we do what we do? Like, what are the driving forces behind what we do? So it's a complex area. And what I try and do is get people to realize that they don't have to give up everything. They don't have to give up carbs. They don't have to give up. Most men that I speak to, not all, some women, but mostly men, especially in the UK and America, they think, I want to lose weight, but I don't want to give up booze. They think they have to give up all alcohol. Are you guys, India, you don't drink a lot, do you? You're not big drinkers over there?
It depends. It's again, person to person.
Person to person, yeah. Yeah. So when I tell people they can still lose 20, 30 pounds, they don't have to give up alcohol, they go, okay, now this seems a bit more attractive, because this is
something which is unique.
Yeah, in their head, they're thinking 12 weeks, no carbs, no booze, gym 5 days a week, eating salad every day, all these things that we conjure up in our head that creates weight loss. And that isn't the truth. When you understand how calories work, and when you understand that calorie deficit, and then also have your own self-worth in making food choices. Like, for example, I'll have a pizza every Friday night. That's just my thing, but I don't get fat, because what I do in the days leading up to that, I'll control my calories. And on the Saturday and the Sunday, I'll control my calories because I know how that energy balance works. Where most people that don't understand this, they think if they have a pizza, they start beating themselves up. They think, oh, I've messed up. I'm going to get fat. Like, you don't get fat from one pizza, and you don't lose weight from eating a salad. That makes sense, yeah? So it depends what you do over 7 days, or even over 14 days, or even over a month. It's the sum total of your habits over those 7, 10, 15 days. So once I understand that to people, they realize they can still have a life. You mean I don't have to spend my life in the gym every day? No, you don't. I can still have a bottle of wine at the weekend or a few beers 2 or 3 nights a week. Yes, you can. You don't have to eat salad all day long. You can have a burger. You can have some chips. You can have Doritos. I like Doritos. They have Doritos in India?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it is everywhere.
Everywhere, aren't they? So, yeah. I don't know why I'm talking like India's the other side. I mean, it's the other side of the world, but it's not a different planet. But does it all make sense, guys? Yeah. So that's really what I...
Absolutely. I mean, I think, Gav, I would like to add one thing, that you can save the life of millions of Indians, because, if they get to know about the fact that, they can lose weight, and not even they have to lose, they have to stop eating junks and pizzas and the burgers and the favorite cuisines. I think this is something which is new to the market, and not very, I would find a lot of people talking about this particular thing.
Yeah,
because the
traditional method, bread with you guys, isn't it? What's the bread? Sorry, either naan or chapati, or what, all the type of breads you guys eat, which I love, by the way. And you don't have to cut them out. Now, can you have them every day, all day? Not, you just need to control them. But the problem when someone says to eliminate anything, I always tell them to be very, very careful. And this is what you probably see me talk about, the keto diet. Have you seen me mention the keto diet, which is
you
carb
often mention in your videos.
Yeah, like, here's the thing. I don't actually have that much of a problem with keto. I just try and be a bit argumentative to try and wind people up. But look, losing weight is hard enough as it is mentally. So why make it hard? If I said to you, you can lose 30 pounds or 15 kilos, lose 15 kilos eating carbs, or 15 kilos with no carbs, what would you choose? An obvious choice, isn't it?
15 kilos with the eating carbs,
with
obviously.
Carbs, of course. Well, who would choose no carbs? Who would like no sugar, no desserts, no bread, no sweets? Like, look, we're here for what, 80, 90 years if we're very lucky, right? Eliminating anything that tastes great. You can't eat all that stuff all the time because it is, a lot of it is not great for us in terms of health. But to eliminate all the good things in life, that's just not the way. And the problem with that is then when people do lose weight, when the diet ends, the end of the 12 weeks, they go back to normal. They're like, oh God, thank God I can start eating all those carbs again. And they put all the weight back on. So I want to teach people that what I'm going to show you is you can do this for 12 weeks. You can also do it for 12 years. It just becomes part of your lifestyle.
Sustainable.
Great.
Sustainability.
I think sustainability. I think the idea of not abandoning the favorite cuisines and the dishes that you eat and still having to lose weight, I think it's really commendable.
Absolutely.
And not, as I mentioned earlier, not a lot of people are talking about this concept that, because traditional method, especially in India, is that you go to the gym. When you go to the gym, you take a kind of a resolution that for some time you're not going to have sugar, white flour, and all the other steps which might, increase your calorie intake. So this is something which is, I would say, unprecedented, and quite a lot of people who would be listening to this podcast would be really interested to know how can they, have their favorite dishes and still can lose weight. So really amazing.
In fact, someone is commenting on YouTube that we are with the wine. So, I mean, they want to have wine while they are
son of
losing
gangs. I
their
don't know the
weight.
name of that person. Yeah, somebody is.
I've actually had a couple of clients in India before.
Okay.
Not that many, but I do get a couple of clients from India, and they everyone loses weight, and all the conversations I've had with guys in India, been a couple of ladies as well. They've all been like, really, we can still eat bread and carbs and sugar and still lose weight. And so my whole message, particularly on LinkedIn, is to try and dispel dispel a lot of the myths, because it's one of the biggest myths around health and fitness and nutrition, that you have to cut out these things, and you just don't. That's the reality.
Yeah. So Gav, I really want
So
to.
Gav, yeah, please
Yeah,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Sorry. So I really want to understand that how it
So
all started. I mean, so you always wanted to become fitness expert, or how it all started? Like, can you share something about your childhood or some
Yeah.
experiences?
Well, this will take me into what I actually did end up doing for 17 years before I got back into fitness.
Okay.
So to the backstory, I was always into health and fitness, football, rugby, cricket. Loved the cricket. By the way, I went to see England. My first Test match was England against India at Trent Bridge, and
Oh,
Sachin Tendulkar was playing that day. I think he was 15
oh,
years old. It was one of his first matches.
all
Yeah, it was.
right.
So this is back in what, the mid 80s,
Right. Mid
back
80s.
then,
Yeah.
mid
Yeah.
to late
I think
80s.
he debuted in 1992. I think starting of 90s.
So 90, so early
Yeah,
90s, yeah. So
early
yeah,
90s.
so I saw him. Massive fan of sport, and I was also a huge fan of Madonna. This is 1987, 88, 89. Now she came to London. This is a true story. She came to London in 1990,
Mm-hmm.
and she was famous for running around Hyde Park with two massive bouncers, but they were also had a T-shirt on saying personal trainer. So they're bouncer stroke personal trainer. And I remember thinking, I was age 15, I'm going to be a personal trainer to the stars. I thought I'd train people like Madonna, all these celebrities. Didn't happen. Anyway, um, at age 19, I went on a TV show called Blind Date. You might not know it. It was massive in the UK. It was probably the closest thing to reality TV back in the 90s, so 1993. And this is where you're on this TV show where there was a girl and there was a screen and then three guys, and she had to ask these questions to the men and then pick the winner. Okay,
Right.
so, and
I can recall that
Okay.
somehow.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. Anyway, to back up from that, to get on the show, when I went for the auditions, I had to get through three auditions, and I bullshitted my way on. I told them I was a stripper. I thought, how can I get on there? I know I was into the gym, I was into training, and I said, how can I make an impact? So funny enough, before I went for the auditions, I'd been for another audition to do what we call strippergrams in the UK. When someone has like a birthday or a hen party, I would turn up at a club or a pub dressed in like a policeman's outfit or a fireman or, the white officer. And I would, they'd pay me money and I'd dance around for the girls. And so went for an audition for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Got my way onto the show. She picked me. And at this time I went back into the stripping, to the kissograms. Then went to university. And as I came out of university, instead of going back into fitness or starting in fitness, my friend offered me this tour to go and tour Europe for 12 weeks with this dance company. It's a true story. And that was the start of a 17-year career, dancing, shows, stripograms all over Europe. And that took me up to age 35. And that's true story. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to have to start using my brain instead of everything else. But I couldn't give it up. It was so much fun. It was great money, traveling all over Europe, out every night, meeting lots of people. It was great. And I thought, you know what, I need to get back into my first love, which was fitness and nutrition. That's when I moved to London, 2008. And I've been doing that back into fitness for 13 years now.
So your passion drove you back to what you loved.
Well, if I'm honest, it was a little bit of that. I knew I'd get back into that, but my passion was doing what I was doing. But I realized that I wasn't going to become famous, and there was no career, and I wasn't really going to make the money that I would probably make if I got into something. So it was a tactical decision. It was a little bit of like, oh, I really don't want to give this up, but I'm going to have to before I get too old, before I get to 40. So age 35, packed up, moved to London, and got straight back into fitness. So that was the story. Yeah.
Amazing.
I
I
think it's
mean,
brilliant.
really interesting.
So, Gav, I would like to just understand that. So, as you said that you were, you're a fan of Madonna, and there were two bodyguards who had written on their shoulder like personal trainer or assistant, and
Yeah.
you visualized at that time that you wanted to become a fitness coach of celebrities and big brands. So, you are already established, a very famous fitness coach and health coach in UK. So where do you see yourself in like down the line 5 years? How do you want to scale up as to what you're doing?
Well, the last couple of years have been very good for me, and I'll be honest, I feel bad for. I know COVID has caused a lot of people to, apart from the deaths, which obviously has been horrendous. A lot of people have lost money, businesses. Been a terrible year for some, but for me personally, it was fantastic. Business doubled last year. A mixture of doing video. LinkedIn was starting to kick off. I think COVID, a lot of people stuck at home, started to eat and drink a lot. A lot of people got overweight. So the aim for the next 5 years is just to scale the business. I've just recently brought on another coach. I'm looking to bring on another one in the next couple of months. Aim to get 4 or 5 people in the team by the end of the year, and just keep doing things on a different level. As you know, LinkedIn, the business on there is unlimited. But here's the thing, and I'll don't tell everyone in fitness that no one believes me. No one believes me. I've been telling all my friends for the last 3 years, get on LinkedIn, but it's not sexy. LinkedIn's not sexy. Like Facebook, absolutely. I mean, but Instagram, everyone's, because it's visual, isn't it? And all the six packs, all the gym people are on Instagram, but I don't care. I'm on about building business. And if you think about all of my clients, from a trainer or a coach's perspective, are they a six-figure income earners? Are they hanging out on LinkedIn or Instagram? Not saying they won't hang out on Instagram, but if you're 45 years old, earning $300,000-400,000 a year, are you scrolling on LinkedIn or are you scrolling on Instagram? You're probably scrolling on LinkedIn. Not all of them, but probably. So I'm going to hang out where the people that I want as clients are going to be. Like my ego wants Instagram, but, because I want to have 100,000 followers on Instagram, but the ego doesn't pay the bills.
True.
Absolutely.
So, there's a top fitness coach that I follow. I won't mention his name, and he actually did a podcast recently. It wasn't a podcast; it was a Instagram live, IG story. And someone asked him, "Where do you think the best places are to build business for fitness, to get good, well-paying clients?" And he said, "Instagram, Facebook." He said, "LinkedIn, there's not much on there. Yeah, nothing's really happening on LinkedIn. It's a bit boring." And I was like, yes, you keep saying that, my friend, because that business, LinkedIn, has built my business.
LinkedIn is a gold mine, mind you.
It's a gold mine. Like, you guys know Shay Rowbottom, right?
Yeah.
So I did her video. Did you do a video course, Tauseef? Did you do her video boot camp?
I haven't.
You haven't? No. Okay, so I did her video boot camp last year, and she's up to 600,000 followers now. And she's a millionaire from LinkedIn in under 2 years. Mm-hmm. That's the potential of this platform. The platform is, and you're in touch with all the wealthiest, most affluent business people from every country in the world. There's no other platform like it from a business perspective. No other platform. That's not to say you can't do it on other platforms. Of course you can, and the great thing is it's still organic. You don't have to pay. In fact, adverts don't work very well on LinkedIn, and they're very expensive as well. To build on Facebook and Instagram now, you need to be paying them. I mean, Facebook own Instagram, don't they?
Absolutely.
But so LinkedIn's the place. So long-winded way of answering your question. Sorry. Just to keep building the business, keep helping more people. I really do. Although I'm making money, but I actually really do love what I'm doing at the moment. Like, I'm doing a lot more podcasts. I've got my own schedule. I help do change people's lives. They lose 15 kilos, transform their lives. I really do enjoy and love what I'm doing now. So I wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change it.
So,
So
Gav, I
definitely.
really want to understand this. So, when everybody was doing Instagram, how did you crack this code that I just want to focus on LinkedIn?
Well, it kind of chose me, really.
Okay.
Um, I'll be honest, I was on LinkedIn about 10 years ago, but never used it. Never used it for 7 years. I didn't know it was, I didn't even know you could post. I'm being serious. I did not know you could post. And I had about 2,000 connections. And I remember this, probably 1,500 of them were in my business. I was connected with other trainers. When you think about that, that's actually not good business, is it? Why do I need to be connected with trainers? There's, you can learn from them. I've never posted in my life. I got a coach. I started working with a coach about 3.5 years ago, and he said LinkedIn. And I was like, what? LinkedIn for business? No, it can't be. It can't be. And the thing with me, when I see something working, I go in 100%. I go all in. And I was like a dog with a bone with it. I started adding 100 people a day, posting 2, 3 times a day. I wasn't doing video. It's changed, as you know, in the last 3 years. Back then, not many people were doing video at all. I just went in, just started connecting. But it was only in the last year that I've gone up from about 15,000 to about 33,000 since I've started doing video, and also connecting with people every day, commenting on their posts. So I would say I've definitely cracked the LinkedIn code for sure. I'm not like some of the big guys, but for me, you know what? They could get rid of Facebook and Instagram right now. It wouldn't make any difference to my business. So I'll be honest, the only time I go on those platforms, I'll post, but I don't get any comments. No client. I've never had a client of Instagram in my life. Never. I've had 1 or 2 clients from Facebook. All of my business in the last 3 years have been 100% LinkedIn. So anyone that's watching this or listening or, whatever, you have to forget what you think about LinkedIn. I don't know what the image of LinkedIn is in India, but in the UK and definitely America, and Europe, LinkedIn's not sexy. It's business to business. But for my business personally, there's no other platform comes close to it. YouTube is an amazing business for fitness as
Actually, I
well.
would like to add on to this, Gav, because as you said that LinkedIn is not sexy in America and UK. I think more or less same is the case in India as well, because of the fact that I talk to a lot of people, and I think if I calculate even in my friend circle, I think 70 to 80% of friends who are my friends, they may not be on LinkedIn. They may have their profiles, but they may not have active engagement on LinkedIn, but they would definitely be on Facebook and Instagram.
That's
So
it.
similar sort of situation here is in India as well, but now I can see that there is a traction which is moving towards LinkedIn. People are getting more aware about what is actually happening on LinkedIn and why it is, because of the fact that, as you rightly mentioned, it is the most organic platform. You don't have to pay for your leads. So, and it gives you a lot of visibility to the serious clients, as you rightly mentioned. So you
That's
cracked
it.
your code at a very right place of
Yeah,
time. So
that's it.
that's
Well,
really, and
sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you
yeah,
there.
you want to say something? Go ahead.
I was going to say,
No, I was saying that
I think there's a bit of a
I think
delay,
there is a
isn't there? A bit
lag
of a
in
delay, yeah.
bit,
What I was
bit of
going to
delay.
say, is, once I understood that whenever I post and someone comments or likes my post, it gets shown to other people's feed, which Facebook used to be able to do 10 years ago or 7, 8 years ago. Because now when you post on Facebook,
Seven,
no
eight
one
years.
sees the post, do they? No one sees it. Um, I thought, well, okay, if every time I post, someone will see my post, if I keep building and getting more and more people to see it, because it's never about the product. One, you've got to have a good product and you've got to be confident in your skills to deliver that product. So I knew that, but I could be the best coach in the world. But if people don't know that I exist, it's worth nothing. So you
True.
have to be visible. So I'm starting to look at YouTube. in terms of advertising, but that takes time to build that up. But LinkedIn is still, it's such a great organic platform, and it's slowly people are coming in it from a fitness perspective. I know all other areas, they know that LinkedIn is the platform to be on, but I said I'm quite happy to stay on there, and if it takes a few more years before they realize that it's the platform to be on, I'm happy with that. I keep telling all my friends, but they don't believe me. I'm like,
So Gav, I just wanted to, so we would definitely move on to, we have parked 10 minutes of the time for our audiences to take questions, and
yeah,
we
sure.
will move on to that phase. But before that, I wanted to understand, because of the fact that you interact with a lot of clients all over the world, as you rightly said, I'm pretty sure that you would have had a lot of experience working with them. So can you share about a couple of experiences that you had with your clients, that kind of given you a new perspective of life, or probably you have changed something, and probably you have added a value to them. So did you have any experience working with all those clients?
Well, I've had so many different experiences. I mean, one of the main things I've learned, and this is part of the business, although not necessarily to do with the result they get. When I get someone on the phone, like I use an example, when someone's got a lot of weight to lose, as I mentioned before, their self-image is poor. Not everyone, but for most, their self-esteem is very low. Their confidence is low.
Mm.
They've tried everything. So when I have a sales conversation, and unfortunately, I know people are very, there's an idea of sales as like this being the dirty word, but life is one big sale, isn't it? Like, everything is a sale one way or
Absolutely.
another. But I've got very good at what I would call the sales process, and what I've learned a lot about people's psychology. I'll let you into a little tip. I get to a conversation 30, 40 minutes, and let's say someone is a CEO of a company making hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's 260 pounds, so 120 kilos, unhappy, no sex life, wife wants to divorce him, no energy for the kids, all this type of scenario. And I then tell them,
Mm.
this is what's going to cost to join the program. And they go and say, I need to speak to my wife. When you own the company,
Absolutely.
and the company did 500 million last year, they don't need to speak to the wife. I've learned what that means is I'm not ready to invest in myself. No one needs to speak to their wife.
Absolutely.
And it's not about the money, but maybe they're scared. So I've learned a lot about human psychology. So they're scared, they realize they might have to do some work. They're afraid that this is not going to work. So I've learned the different things that people will say in the conversation. So and my job as being a good coach and also being a good salesperson is to say the right thing to that person to make them make a wise decision, not to try and trick them into the program, but to get them to relax and realize, look, if you just trust yourself and come into the program, I can really help you, but you have to jump off that fence. So from a psychology point of view, I've learned that. Does that answer the question? So that's one area that I've
Absolutely. And
learned.
I think
Yeah.
Absolutely, Gav. So Gav, I really want to understand this. So when it comes to losing the weight, uh, is it more physical or it is more psychological? Why people don't want to get into the process?
I would say there's two answers to that. So from a physical perspective or a mechanical, you still have to control your food. So the reason people don't lose weight is they eat too much food. That's the bottom line.
True.
So you have to control the food. But then the psychological aspect is why can't, if it was that easy, why people don't just eat less food? Because food tastes good. It makes you happy. It can cheer you up. We talked about this about at the beginning. So the answer is both really, and it's nearly all from food. Like most people think that exercise is going to help them lose weight. It will help, but what they put in their mouth is worth so much more. But that's the number one priority. So the mechanical side, it's what they put in their mouth mixed with exercise. But then if it was that easy, I could say to a client, come on board, just eat less food. That's it. Pay me the money, eat less food. Like, I can't charge for that, of course. So, but the reality is, if they just ate less food, they would get the same results. Now, that's not the answer that someone wants to hear. If they've been struggling with their weight all their life, we know if someone has been overweight for 20 years, that's a problem. That's a psychological problem. That's not a mechanical problem.
True.
Unless they've been living on Mars, they know that they have to exercise and they need to eat less food. Everyone knows that. So that isn't the problem. So the way I've looked at it is like, it's either a skill set problem or a mindset problem. And for most people, it's a mindset. So unless that someone's been living under a rock or on Mars, it's not a skill set. We eat less food, exercise more. That's Fat Loss 101. So we know it's a mindset problem and a psychological problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Gav. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I think Gav, Vishaka, one of our audiences, she's saying, she's a good friend of mine. She's saying LinkedIn is super active here too, because this is the only platform where we get more information as compared to Insta and Facebook. So she's kind of asking a question that, hey Gav, nice to hear you. What was your initial challenge faced when you started working on LinkedIn as a fitness coach? She's talking about the initial challenges that you might have faced on LinkedIn when you started as a fitness and career
okay.
coach.
I get this with a lot of my friends that are starting out. Everything takes time to build. You can't put a video on and expect your audience to just grow and suddenly get these clients lining up. Like everything, it takes time to build. I would say if someone wants to build a business in anything, not just my business, anyone's business, whatever product or skill coach they are, you need to go 100% in. I think personally, people spend too much time trying to build all their platforms. My advice would be what's the one that's going to give you the most return for your investment in terms of posts? Find out what that is and go all in. So if someone was coming in fitness, I would say you need to spend the next 6 months posting every single day, engaging on other people's posts, talking to people, making comments. Like, we see these coaches saying it needs half an hour a day. Like, who can make 6 figures on half an hour a day? Come on, that's bullshit. It's bullshit. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm on LinkedIn at least 3 or 4 hours a day, talking to people, emails, bringing them off sales calls. It takes time. But a lot of people aren't prepared to do it. I think a lot of people say post once or twice a week. If you want to be seen, you need to post every day, minimum once a day, because you're going to get seen by more people. You're going to get seen more. So I think it's consistency with anything, like building any type of business. You need to be driven. You need that consistency. And you realize that, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take time, but
Absolutely.
keep building, and don't give up. Like, that's the key with anything, isn't it? To keep being consistent.
Thank you so much, Kev. And I think thanks, Vishaka, for asking this wonderful question. I hope this answers your question. And I have another question that I would like to take that is from Astha. And she's asking from Gav, what kind of routine we can follow in these COVID situations when going to gym is a little difficult, of course. What kind of diet or exercise we can include in our lifestyle? So she's asking from the point of view that a lot of people are into lockdown situations, so they aren't getting the opportunity to go outside and join gym. So what kind of routine or lifestyle they can follow, especially when it comes to exercise and the diet, and they can do it at the comfort of their home?
Good question. I would look at the food intake first before the exercise. Definitely have to start tracking calories. Like, control your calories. So you need to start tracking them and knowing how much you're taking in. So let's use the example of 2,000 calories a day. Let's say you're eating 2,000 calories a day and you're not losing any weight. If you reduce your calories by a couple hundred every day, do that for a week. And if you start to lose a pound or two, you'll know that you're in that calorie deficit. So everyone that's listening, start tracking your calories. And there's loads of different apps. Do they have MyFitnessPal? Do they have that app in India? Do you know that app on
I
the
think
phone?
there are some
We need
applications
to
by
check that.
which, yeah.
But you'll have loads of
There
calorie
are some other
trackers in India.
applications, yeah.
Yeah. Get a calorie tracker and start tracking all the food that goes in your mouth. And only then, it's just like tracking your income. You know, the way I use, the example I use to my clients, if I said to you guys, I want you guys to save $10,000 as quickly as you can. But the only problem is, I'm not going to tell you what income you've got coming in. I'm not going to tell you when that income comes. And I'm not going to tell you when your bills are coming out of your bank account or how much they're going to be. So you've got money coming in, but you don't know how much or when. You've got money going out, you don't know how much or when. That's what people do with their food. So how the hell are they meant to lose weight? Like, how can you save 10,000 when you don't know that? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So
You can't achieve what you can't measure.
Exactly. What gets measured gets managed. So start tracking the calories. Then onto the exercise. Any type of movement would work. Now, the best thing to build muscle and burn body fat would be resistance training. So if you've got body weight stuff or some resistance training at home, that would be the first choice. And then any type of movement will help. But most people spend far too long on the exercise and then don't have any clue what they're eating. Track what you're eating, then look at the exercise. Hopefully that answers that question. I mean, it's a big subject, really.
So if I just have to recap, I think we need to monitor what we are eating. We need to track, just like the way you, as you rightly said, that's the way we, track our incoming and outgoing. We have to track
100%.
the food that we're eating, the
Exactly
intake
the
that we're
same.
having, and obviously we have to. Absolutely. So Piyush, would you like to take another questions? I think we have a lot of questions coming in today.
We are getting a lot of questions. So Nisarg is asking that is it necessary to consume some creatine or external supplements if we are going into the gym?
It's not necessary. I mean, creatine is a brilliant supplement if you're trying to build muscle and for power, and it will enable you to get a couple of more reps. But if you're a professional athlete, creatine might be a good idea. For the average person, it's not necessary. You can get it from eating a lot of meat, different things. It's in red meat. I know some people don't eat red meat, but the answer is, do you need it to build muscle? No. Can it help you build more muscle? It can. But I would, before people start taking extra supplements, I'd get them to focus on tracking their calories, increasing their protein, sleeping more, drinking more water, more exercise. Once they've got the base, then you can look at creatine. Like, does that make sense? So a lot of guys take creatine and then neglecting all the basics. Like there's 10 things that I would do before I would even look at creatine. So, and the difference between taking creatine and not, for the average person, you, me, and 7 billion people on the planet, it's so insignificant. It doesn't matter. Now, you could argue if you were the top 10 sprinter in the world, would they all be taking creatine? Probably. Would they all be taking everything else? Most definitely. You know what I'm talking about there. Right. So, but for you and me, the average, it wouldn't make any difference. So it will definitely help, but it's so insignificant, it's not worth worrying about.
Right. So basically, for the person like you and me, it is more about getting stick to the basics instead of going for.
Basics will always win every time. Yeah.
Right. So Gav, I really want to understand. I really want to ask you this question: that whatever stage of your life you are right now. So if I ask you, what are the major 3 qualities, or what are the 3 basic or main things which help you to reach to this level of your life wherever you are?
The 3 things that have got me to where I am now in any area of life. I think
area of life.
Yeah. The one thing that anyone that sees me on social media, I'm always I'm 100% myself all the time. Now I know that will get me in trouble, as in some people won't like me because of that. But you know what I've learned, and I've learned this from quite a young age, and only since I've been using social media to build business, if you can be 100% yourself, you will attract the right people to your life. Look, there's a reason we're having this podcast right now.
True.
Okay, because
Absolutely.
my videos and the things I say are 100% me. I'm not pretending to be anyone. So you reached out to me, said, Gav, can you come on the podcast? Because you liked my message. If I was pretending to be that person, or it wasn't my true self, does that make sense? Yeah. So you've got to be
Absolutely.
100% yourself. So yeah, I'll say things that people don't like. I'll swear. I'll be a bit rude. I'll annoy people, not intentionally, but I'm being me. And what I've realized is when you're 100% yourself, you'll push away the people that don't believe in what you think, but you'll massively attract the people to you that resonate with what you're saying. And that's way more powerful. And I think a lot of people struggle with there's this idea of being authentic. If you're having to try to be authentic, that in itself is inauthentic, isn't it? It's
True.
very easy, just be yourself. Now, some people are
Brilliant.
like, well, how do I be myself? But you've just got to relax. Like, what I've also learned as well, like for every success that people have, it's easy to look at someone and think they're so much better than me. If they've got more money, maybe they're taller or better looking, or they've got a big flash car. Look, that millionaire or billionaire, when he goes home at night, or she, they've got just as many insecurities as every other person on the planet.
True.
Like,
Absolutely.
and there's areas of his or her life that he would do anything to change. So when you compare yourself to other people's success, you're doing yourself a disservice. Like what I've realized, I am the same. If you were a billionaire right now, this podcast would be identical. If you were the guy that sweeps the floor, this podcast would be identical. I wouldn't pretend to be anything I'm not. I wouldn't give you a different story. So that's a long-winded way of saying just 100% be yourself. Does that answer that question?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And just love your answer, Gav.
And I think that's what Robin Sharma also says, that you should not compare the mountaintop of your success with the mountaintop of the other people's success.
100%, because
That's when the problem happens.
that's when the problems happen. And look, we all do it though. And here's the thing, Instagram is the worst because you see
I
people
think a lot of people using Instagram would definitely have a bad day today.
like the internet. I love the internet, but like, and I'd scroll, but I hate it when I do it because I'm like, there's a guy doing a backflip off a yacht in Thailand and he's made 7 figures, and I'm thinking, oh, I need to, you start comparing yourself. But when you take a step back, as long as you focus on your life, look after the people around you, keep being true to yourself, and maybe I do it more than a lot. There's not that many people that are 100% confident with who they are. You've got to be confident in yourself. I get that. And only once you're confident in yourself can you be true to who you are and have the right message. And that takes time. It's taken me a while to get that. But once I understood that, that's why I keep coming out with different ideas and trying to make people laugh, because that's who I am in normal life, But comparison is the thief of joy. I don't know who said that, but someone said,
Absolutely.
someone clever
On the
said it.
same line, I would like to add one more thing, that I was reading somewhere, and the guy said that a meaningful silence is better than mindless scrolling on social media. So I think on the same line, what you spoke about is really, really an important issue today, because you have to be you. You can't be someone else.
You have to be
And
you.
then I would
Well,
like
it's
to just
tiring. Can you imagine how tiring it would be trying to be
absolutely.
someone else? I've got a couple of friends that they're always thinking, I can't say this because that person might think that I'm going to think this. They're always trying to second guess. So it's very tiring trying to be someone else, and it's always a guesswork. You're thinking, does that person think this of me? So I won't say that. And if you knew what was going on in other people's heads, as I said, I've learned seen some of the most successful people in all walks of life. When they're naked, they're just as insecure as everyone else. I don't care who you are. And that's what, when I go and meet new people, all my insecurities, I'm like, you know what? I've got nothing to worry about. Just be yourself. Treat everyone as you would if they're a billionaire or they sweep the floors. Everyone's worth the same. And what I've also learned as well, everyone that you meet has got a skill that you can't do. Like, there'll be someone that you think, okay, he's not earning much money, but he could be a whiz at coding, or could build websites, or is a chess master or something. And you can learn something from everyone, can't you? Really?
Absolutely. I think
sure. So I think this is going to be the message of our today's episode, that just be yourself and don't ever compare yourself with anybody in this world. Just be yourself.
It's a great message.
Top message. And I think a couple of points that I would like to reiterate as to what Gav has actually talked about today, and I made a quick note of it, is that you have to, manage your calorie intakes, because that is the most important thing when it comes to managing your health. And so whatever calorie intakes that you're taking, you have to make sure that you're burning the same amount of calories to make the balance in your diet and all.
Absolutely.
And then I think being yourself, as Piyush managed.
I love that comparison as well, that while you are eating, you have to manage it like a money. That how much money is coming and how much money is going out. You have to compare that thing.
Yeah. People do that. I mean, if you don't do that, that's when people get in trouble with the money and they get into debt. But anyone that's really good with money and earns a lot of money, they know exactly what's coming in and exactly what's going out. And that, unfortunately, a lot of people have a problem with that when it comes to food. So that's why half the world, it's weird, the world we're in. Like, half the world's starving and half the world's fat.
Absolutely.
How does that make sense?
It's really unfortunate, actually.
Yeah.
So, Gav, at this moment of podcast, can you please let us know, our audience, that if somebody want to get connected with you, what will be the channels, or how they can, come to you and know more about your services?
Great. Well, probably one of the first things, I hope you don't mind me mentioning my book, the GHG method. It's on Amazon. You can get that. Just type the GHG method in. And that's really the formula that I use with my clients in a written version. Or they could find me on LinkedIn, Gav Gillibrand, LinkedIn, same on YouTube. All my videos on now. I'm slowly building YouTube, but LinkedIn's my main thing, or gavgillibrand.com. Come to the website. They can sign up for my emails, which I send 2 or 3 emails a week on fitness and fat loss. But I think in terms of social media platforms, definitely LinkedIn would be the place where you would, if they come on, they'll see me live. I'm going to be on there every day doing something or other. But the book would be a good start. I mean, it's a great way of learning what I do. So,
absolutely.
Thanks a lot for sharing, Gav. And I would just like to ask one quick question. One of our audience is asking that, tell me something about the keto diet, how it will be beneficial for us. And I would like to just take a quick response on this.
Okay, very quickly. We mentioned it before. Do you want to lose weight eating carbs, or do you want to lose weight not eating carbs? Most people would rather do it whilst eating carb because it's easier. Like, if I did keto with all my clients, they would probably get the same results as what I'm doing without doing keto. But if I said to the average businessman or woman, no carbs for the next 12 weeks, how many clients would I get? That's the answer. It's just a tough, there's 100 ways you can get into a calorie deficit. Now, keto is one of those ways, but it's also a very difficult way. And also, do you want to do something that you can't sustain for the rest of your life? Probably not.
Absolutely.
But, so I joke about keto, but it's actually effective. It will work, but why? That's my answer. Really.
I think brilliant. And just one final question. Asa is saying that, what's the best time for water intake? I have heard that people suggest to drink more water in the mornings and reduce the consumption post 8 p.m. So is it just a myth, or there is something logic in that?
Yeah, it's just a myth. just a
Okay.
myth. And on that note, it's a myth when you take your food. It doesn't matter. You could eat nothing all day and all your calories at night, or you could split it into 3 meals, or 5 meals, or 10 meals, or 1 meal. It doesn't matter. It's what you do over 24 hours or even over 7 days. So there's loads of myths that are around fitness, but definitely I've never heard that about water, actually. I've never even heard that myth. That's how much of a myth it is. I've never even heard it.
True. True.
So there, your audience is saying thank you to you for coming in, and definitely
thank you,
me and
guys.
my co-host Piyush would like to say a massive thank you for accepting our
Absolutely.
invitation and coming here and adding value. And I think it was a humongous value that you have added today. And I think Piyush, if you agree with me, this was the most interactive session, wherein we
Absolutely.
had a
I
lot of
just
questions from all
love
the
this.
audience because of the
Yeah.
fact that it was real, and you answered those questions which are directly related to the people all across the world, and most of the people are having these kind of sort of health issues, and people are very conscious about the fact that they want to improve their health. But when it comes to not consuming their favorite dishes and then losing the weight, that's not the cake that everybody wants to eat. But so
That's
the
it.
formula that you have told today, that you mentioned today, is definitely very interesting, and a lot of people would definitely be intrigued and interested in knowing more about what you would want to do. So I would like to, though we have already shared on across our social media platform about what you do, and what kind of values you add, what services you offer, but definitely with this podcast, this will remain on the YouTube channel, and people
Absolutely.
can revisit, and they can connect with you. We would like to drop in your contact detail in the comment section on this channel itself. So if somebody wants to connect with you in the future, they can always connect with you. So
Great.
once
Thank
again,
you.
thanks a lot
Thank
for
you.
joining us,
Thank you,
Gav.
Gav. Really
Been
appreciate.
No, it's been great. My first podcast into India. Hopefully not the last.
Welcome to India.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate you being on here, guys. And it's late for you guys, isn't it? It's like, time is it? Half
It's
half
really
It
11?
is,
fine.
it is, it is.
When you are
Yeah,
having a conversation with like-minded people, time doesn't matter, you know?
We lose a
exactly,
track of time, yeah. And then
exactly. No,
just a final shout out for our audience, and I just want to thanks each and everyone who has joined today live, and asked such a beautiful questions, and we have, I hope we have been able to answer, and Gav was very effective in answering those questions. I hope it was a value to you. So thanks a lot for joining us today, and keep supporting us, keep coming us, and I'm sure we are going to offer more values in the upcoming episodes on this
And
podcast.
someday in future again, we would love to, once again, we want to have you, Gav, whenever it's
yeah,
possible.
I'll come back anytime. Brilliant. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
pardon me for one thing, because I have still pronounced your name a couple of times, and I don't know. So pardon me for
It's
that, Gav.
No, it's okay. Gav's good. But can you even say the second name? Can you say Gillibrand? That's my
Gillibrand.
surname.
So
Gillibrand,
in
yeah.
fact, your name has already a brand word. So you are already a
Yeah,
brand.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Piyush is doing a lot of personal branding, so you already have a brand with yourself.
There
So,
you go. There you go.
so thank you
Thank you,
so
guys.
much.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you
Genuine
so much.
thanks.
Really appreciate. Thank you.
Appreciate.